Hello and welcome back to the Product Biz Podcast. My name is Monica Little and I'm so excited to be here. I feel like I say that every time I record an episode because I am in a season of recording when I feel inspired. So, of course, I'm excited because I'm actually inspired and I have something to share versus doing things out of the necessity, out of the need, out of pressure, out of accountability, out of all of these really masculine, dominant traits, which we've been talking a lot about. And the switch to more of a feminine angle to business, a feminine angle to life. And you guessed it, we are going to continue with this conversation today because I just have some more realizations, revelations, things to share with you. And also, I got such a good feedback from our last episode. So one person, Karen, one of my amazing PBA members, said, "This was my favorite podcast from you. I needed it. Thank you." And that was about last week's episode, specifically about luck and feminine energy and expecting the universe to take care of you. And I really, truly want to hit home on this because if you are someone who is doing all the things, doing everything possible and burning yourself out and trying to build your business through hustle and grit and work ethic and pressuring yourself, there's an easier way. There's a better way. And there's a more fulfilling way to run business. And I speak from experience. I speak from someone who burnt herself out immensely when I was running plant-based beauty. And I was co-owning 3 retail stores with a business partner. And I was running a coaching program with that business partner. I had a crazy Thanksgiving, I don't know what year this was, 2021, 2022, where my body just started to shut down on me and I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk because I had immense pain in my right side, which is so funny because the right side is the masculine side now that I think of it. Went to the emergency room. My husband drove me, and literally every single bump in the bumpy Chicago streets, because there's a lot of potholes, had me wincing, screaming, and crying in pain. And I remember going to the ER and they were poking me and prodding me and CT scans, ultrasounds, MRI scans, blood work, all this stuff. And they told me nothing's wrong with me. And then 2 days later, I came back because I still felt just as bad. I couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't move, couldn't laugh. And my husband had to pick my legs. He had to put me in bed and pick my legs up and put them in and out of bed for me to move because any muscular use of my torso had me screaming in pain. And you don't realize how much when you talk, your abdomen is actually working. When you move your legs, your abdomen is working. When you laugh, when you eat. All of this is connected to your abdomen. And lo and behold, went to the emergency room a second time, got no answers, started working with a functional, holistic doctor, and they spotted endometriosis, which is something that gets super flared up from stress. So since then, have managed it very well by managing stress. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because I get what it's like to build a business from burnout, hustle, working 80 plus hours per week. And there is a way to build a business that way, but the only question I have for you is at what expense? And if there was an easier, more aligned, more in flow, more, I don't even know the word, more present way to build your business, would you give it a try? And if the answer is yes, then you are listening to the right podcast. Because if you haven't noticed, I tend to go on these tangents, the more spiritual tangents, the woo-woo tangents, the what's underneath the surface tangent, and as of late, the feminine energy tangent, which is just what I'm jiving with. So what we're going to talk about today is this incredible correlation that I have seen, which is the more that you value yourself, the more your business will value you. And what I mean by that is the more you value yourself, the more money you will make. The more you value yourself, the more opportunities that will come your way. the more you value yourself, the easier business will seem. And the more you value yourself, the more impact you make. So if you want to make more money, have more opportunities, run a simpler, easier business, and make a bigger impact, then the key here is to understand, do you value yourself and how to increase your value in yourself? But let me paint the picture of why I believe this so strongly and why I'm sharing this with you here today. I am the biggest believer, and this isn't even a belief, like this is fact, this is truth, that everything is a mirror. Every single thing in life is a mirror. Everything. From the person honking at you on the freeway to how your friends, partners, and family members treat you. Everything is a mirror. The reason because of this is two things. Number one, we all emit a specific energy. We have a vibration. We have a magnetic vibration to us. If you look, I'm totally going to butcher this. Science isn't my strong suit. However, if there is knowledge out there that if you look at an atom, I believe, which is like the smallest particle that exists, it is 99.999% empty space. And then there's something in there. Is it a nucleus? I don't know. Is it a proton, electron, something-tron? Maybe. And it's vibrating. And that vibration, that movement is what makes it appear solid. Now you're going to have to go look on Google and like something, it's like that, but science is not my strongest suit. However, the moral of the story is we are vibrational beings. We are made of vibrating atoms. So we have an energy, we have a frequency, we have a vibration to us. And what your vibration is will attract more of that. Because we are magnetic. We are electromagnetic beings on this planet. And if you don't believe me about the electromagnetic part, I mean, that is what an EKG is. That's how, when there's someone who has heart failure, they literally pump electricity in you to revive you. I believe in EKG. Let me actually Google this. I don't want to be off on my science more than once. EKG is to test the electrical signals in the heart. So when I say you're an electromagnetic being that has a frequency to you, a vibration that magnetizes that frequency back, EKGs are a living piece of proof of that. So everything is a mirror. And what you believe will come back to you. And I said I have two examples of why that is true. Number one is we are electromagnetic. We have a vibration. We are a frequency, and like attracts like. And number two is I want you to think about the beliefs you have about others, about yourself, about your business, and see how they are being mirrored back to you to see what's actually happening in real life. For example, if you doubt that people will like your products, that's contagious. Versus if you know people love your products, that's also contagious. So are customers saying yes to the product, or are they saying yes to you? Which one do you want to believe in? I truly believe that we have to work on ourselves and value ourselves in order to attract what we want. Because when we value ourselves, we will attract high value opportunities, high value money, high value impact. There's this really fun exercise that you can do, which I'm not going to give away actually, because I did this exercise at PBA Live and I'm not going to give it away here on the podcast. You just have to join Product Biz Academy and attend the next PBA Live in order to go through this exercise. So sorry about that, but I'm totally going to leave you on a cliffhanger with that. But bring it back to value. So when I say the more you value yourself, everything is a mirror, what I want you to consider is this phenomenon that if you have ever doubted yourself, have you started to see other people in your life doubt you? I'm going to give you this example. I have seen time and time again when people say to me, Monica, my partner just doesn't believe in what I'm doing. My partner says this is never going to turn into a credible business. My partner says it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money. And what I would say to that individual, maybe after some initial coaching, is essentially getting to the point of, what do you believe is true? Do you believe it's possible? Do you believe you can do this? Do you believe there's a future, there's a path? Do you believe it's possible for you? Because if everything in life is a mirror, you can see the things that people are saying to you are just a reflection of your own thoughts and your own energy. So if someone else is doubting you, that just means you're doubting yourself. If someone else is judging you, that just means you're judging yourself. If someone else is angry at you, that just means you have some anger inside of yourself. And it's a really beautiful process when you start to understand that every single thing in life is a mirror. And it's humbling because then you can never really be mad at anyone because you recognize that what they're bringing back to you is an internal belief story that you're holding on to. And in order to clear that, you just have to change your own perspective of yourself. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of shadow work, takes a lot of self-awareness, takes a lot of trust. But this is how you start to attract what you actually want in life. So when I say business growth is a direct reflection of your own self-worth, there's ways that we can value ourselves. Because as you think about valuing yourself, I want you to think of it interchangeably with the word self-love. Self-value, self-love, those are things that I think are synonymous. But the more you value yourself, you will demand a certain level of respect and value from others. And not even in a negative way of, oh my gosh, you better treat me better, but it just raises the bar that people will value in you in that way. And I think you can consider maybe a mentor or someone that you look up to where you can tell, and I think of my business coach, that people respect him. People just respect him, his opinion, his thoughts. They ask him questions, they soak it up. And I see that that comes from a level of self-respect that he has for himself. The more you value yourself, the less you care about judgment. Because when you value yourself and love yourself, you love every single part of you, the good, the bad, the ugly, every potential judgment. And when you love everything about yourself that you could be judged for, who cares if you get judged for it, right? If, for example, let's take a really simple example here. If you are someone who does not like your voice, you may care about someone judging you for the sound of your voice. However, if you are someone who maybe doesn't like your voice, but has realized that this voice has been the voice that you've had your entire life, your entire 33 years, that your kids, your babies, your parents, your spouse, your friends can recognize you on the phone based on your voice, even without seeing your face, and your voice is part of what makes you. And your voice was literally given to you because your soul chooses everything before landing on this beautiful planet, from the size of your nose to the size of your feet to the sound of your voice. And if you decide to love your voice, even though you may not think it's the best voice, do you care about being judged? No, not at all. Because you have decided and chosen to love your voice, whatever word it is. So the more you value yourself, the less you care about judgment. The more you value yourself, the more confidence you have to do scary things. The more you value yourself, the more the universe mirrors that value right back to you. Which means the more you value yourself, the more money you make. So what actually is valuing yourself and self-worth and self-love? What does it mean? And I like this phrase of being a high-value woman. And it's so interesting. I talked about this in the last episode, but there's so much you can learn from relationship dynamics of being a high-value woman and how you treat men and how you expect to be treated by men. And again, not in this egotistical way, because a lot of people, when they think of high-value women, they may think someone who demands a certain level of treatment in a negative way. And there's a way to demand a certain level of respect in a positive way just based on who you are. That's different than demanding a certain level of action by manipulating or blackmailing or holding it kind of like as a carrot on a stick, saying, I'll only talk to you if you do this, I'll only talk to you if you do that, I'll only love you if you do this, only love you if I do that. That is not a high value woman. I would say that is a manipulative woman who has an ego, who's out on a mission to like get something from someone. But a high value woman in my definition is someone who respects them so much that everyone around them, including relationships, people, friends, family, the universe has to step up to match that level of respect. And they just won't even tolerate anything else. And it's not even about tolerating, it's that the people who they interact with are also high value. The universe is also reaching them at a higher value because they are at such a high vibrational point in their life, in their being, that it's not even about tolerating what's underneath it, because you don't have to tolerate, because what's underneath it doesn't even affect you or come to you or grace your presence. Hopefully that's making sense. But a high value woman has self-worth. And a high value business owner is someone who has self-worth. And self-worth is choosing to love, value, and honor yourself, and knowing that you are inherently worthy of everything that you desire in this lifetime without having to suffer, without having to work hard, without having to do all the things, and just knowing that it is inherently part of your existence on this planet. And having self-worth is a choice. A lot of people think that self-worth, self-love, valuing yourself is something that happens when other people value us, when other people build us up, when other people praise us, when other people say good job, when we prove something to someone, when we feel validated, then we say, then I'll have self-worth, once I feel validated. But it has nothing to do about anyone else. Self-worth, self-love, and being a high-value woman, which leads to having a high-value business, which leads to more money, which leads to the universe matching your energy and giving you more money, opportunities, and impact, is a choice. Now, that can be the hardest thing for people to hear. Because they may say, no, Monica, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know this, you don't know that. It's not that simple. But let's go through this exercise for you to start to understand how you can value yourself if that's something that you're feeling right now. So one exercise you can do is take a piece of paper. Do this with me if you'd like. And on one half, type in ways I do not honor myself. And on the other half, ways I do honor myself. And you're going to see that this is choice. So ways I do not honor myself. I wake up and I check my phone right away. Ways I do honor myself. I wake up and I have a morning routine that fills my cup, that I feel so secure, so nourished, so good in, and then I check my phone. Ways I do not honor myself. I skip lunch. I don't prioritize the food that I'm eating because I'm so busy, because I need to do more. Ways that I do honor myself. I prioritize nourishment. I give myself lunch breaks because I know if I am nourished both from food and also from energy and feeling energized from taking breaks, that I can show up as my best. Ways I do not honor myself. I don't take care of my body. I don't go for walks. I don't go to the gym. I don't eat healthy. I make excuses. I say maybe next week. I eat trash food. Ways that I do honor myself. I know that my body is a vessel, and if I can eat healthy and work out or go for walks or be active in some sort of way, then I am going to feel my best, and when I feel my best, I will make a bigger impact. Ways I do not honor myself. I work 80 hours per week, and I believe that results are a direct reflection of the amount of time, energy, hustle, and burnout I put into my business. Ways that I do honor myself. I believe that every single person on this planet is inherently worthy of abundance. And I know that whatever is meant for me will not pass me, will not be taken away from me, so that I can approach my business from a place of trust, from a place of understanding, from a place of inspiration, and from a place of knowing that my desire is my destiny. And if I have a desire to have a business that brings in X amount of dollars, it is only a matter of time. It is only a matter of alignment before I reach that milestone. Now tell me, who do you think is going to attract a quote unquote better business? The person picking up their phone first thing in the morning, not prioritizing their body via food, water, exercise, meditation, the person burning themselves out, the person not taking breaks, or the person who prioritizes their body, prioritizes their nutrition, prioritizes exercise, prioritizes a morning routine, prioritizes their stability, prioritizes their mental health, prioritizes their beliefs, and prioritizes how they see the world and how they see business. If you don't believe me that having high value in yourself leads to a high value business, there are so many statistics out there to see the routines of like millionaires and billionaires. Every single one of them has a gym routine, a health routine, takes care of their body, has a stress routine, has support in their business. And if success leaves clues, you can see that these people actually value themselves and love themselves and honor themselves and have self-worth, which, yes, we can say in the 3D, this leads to more time to work on your business and better clarity to work on your business. But I'm talking about this from the 5D, that when you demand a level of respect from yourself, you also demand a level of respect from the universe. And the universe is going to match you with money, opportunities, and impact that align with the value that you assign to yourself. And all those examples of do you honor yourself or do you not is a choice, right? You get to choose if you rush through work, if you push yourself, if you need to prove something to someone, if you skip lunch, if you skip a morning routine, if you constantly pivot from idea to idea, if you compare yourself to others, if you only focus on sales and tie your worth to sales. That is all a choice. So something that successful small business owners do is they outline how they honor themselves, how they value themselves, and how they show themselves self-worth. And if you create that list, and if you follow that list of what a high value day looks like, the more your business will grow. But here's the key. We cannot create this list from a place of, I'm only doing this because I want to make more money. And okay, now I have a to-do list and now I'm in my masculine energy and I need to check off this to-do list and I need to do it all because if I do it all, then Monica said I'll make more money. So now not only am I putting pressure on myself about my business sales, but I'm putting pressure on myself to be perfect with how I value myself. That defeats the purpose. The purpose is understanding what can you do to increase your self-worth, your self-love, and honor yourself, and approach it from a place of compassion. Of I do these things because I love myself. I do these things because it fills my cup. I'm not doing these things to check it off a box. I'm doing these things to show the universe how much I value myself so that the universe can mirror it back to me. And we're going to play the relationship card here. You can imagine if someone is in a relationship and they say, I need to lose weight so my partner will love me. I need to do this so my partner will love me. I need to get Botox so my partner will love me. I need to do this so my partner will love me. That's codependency, I think is the word, right? Maybe that's not the correct word, but it's essentially doing something to get something from someone else. Is that magnetic? Or is that actually going to push your partner away? Versus if you say, I'm going to eat healthy because I love myself. I'm going to go to the gym because I want to feel good in my own body. I want to do this because it fills my cup. I want to do that because it makes me happy. I want to do that because it feels like play. I want to do that because it feels like joy. Is that person going to be so magnetic that their partner or future partner is just drawn to them? Think of the universe as your partner. It's like your life partner in a different way than a husband. It is your partner that is there that you can't even see them, supporting you, guiding you, bringing you opportunities, giving you money. And how would you value yourself if you knew that valuing yourself was the most important thing for you to do on this planet? Because then you can truly show up for other people, for your customers, your family, your spouse, your kids. And that is what this is all about. Now, what I want to mention is self-worth is a reflection of self-love, right? They're interchangeable. And a lot of people, including myself, have not known what self-love actually is. I will say 95% of my life, I did not understand what self-love was because I wanted to change my body from starving myself to counting macros and eating like 1,100 calories per day to busting my butt at the gym to look different, to change my shape, to being so strict on myself, to ridiculing how I looked, to being so insecure, to wishing, we can get super physical, like wishing certain body parts look different. For some reason, I hated my nose my whole life. Like I thought I had a big nose. Who the fuck cares? Sorry for my French. But we are inputted into a society that values so much on looks and says you cannot love yourself unless you look like this person or look like that person or look this way or look that way. And we aren't taught self-love. And a big thing for me, probably in the last 6 months, especially as you get older. I love getting older because you care less and less and less what people think about you. And you start to realize how much of your life you did care what people thought about you. And it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. But the past 6 months for me has just been a lot of acceptance of who I am and how I am and loving that. A couple things that have helped me to really cultivate self-love, self-worth, and honoring myself, which leads to more success in business and in life, to be magnetic to the universe, is this concept, which you've probably heard me talk about in the past couple episodes, understanding that your soul chose every single physical piece of you and mental piece of you before you came to this planet. We're getting super woo-woo here. And I don't remember if I talked about this on the last episode, but your soul, when you come down to this planet, this is my belief, chooses the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, your shoe size, your nose size, everything in between, in addition to the lessons you will learn while you are on this planet. So my point of view now is my soul, which is eternal, which is going to come back to this life over and over and over again, specifically chose how I look for a specific reason. Why would I ever do the disservice to my soul and not appreciate every single centimeter of who I am, what I look like, and the lessons I have to go through? When I started to understand that, I realized there's no reason to judge myself or not love myself. Why would I not love myself if my soul literally chose every single aspect of me? Every single aspect. So that has really helped with self-love. Another part that has helped with self-love is self-forgiveness, because we are human beings and we all make mistakes. Welcome to planet Earth. And those mistakes are actually also part of your soul contract. So the mistakes that you make in life are, again, decided by your soul. to go through certain experiences and go through certain mistakes and make the wrong call, do the wrong thing, hurt people, hurt yourself, whatever it may be. And when I started to understand that, it doesn't make certain things okay. We're not giving people, I don't know, a free pass on shitty things. But I can look at my own past and say, I learned a lesson from this. I see how it was wrong. I see who I hurt. I see how I could have been better. And I also see that I did the best that I could at that point in time with the resources and knowledge that I had at that point in time. And I can see why I learned this lesson in some way. So can you look back on your life and see in places where you maybe haven't forgiven yourself what the lesson was, what you learned, how you grew? And you may grow just from saying, I would never do that again. I really effed up. That is growth. That is learning. And in addition to self-forgiveness, the only person who can forgive you is yourself. So if there's any forgiveness that hasn't been given, you're literally the only person who can give it to yourself. So why are we holding something over our head when we did the best we could with the knowledge that we had at that point in time, and we're still beating ourselves up over it? For what reason? The third thing that really helped me with self-love is understanding that life loves me. Everyone inherently is capable of abundance, of love, of joy, of happiness, of having a life that is perfectly in alignment with everything that you want. And the universe, life, God, source, spirit, whatever you want to call it, is conspiring in your favor. Why? Because that's the whole point of being on this planet, to learn lessons, to have fun, to have joy, to have peace. And when I started to look every day for ways that life loves me, from having this breath, life loves me because I'm literally breathing right now. My lungs are working. My whole entire body, my heart is beating, my lungs are breathing, my brain is braining. I'm not doing any of that consciously. Life must love me for me to be here, breathing, speaking, recording this podcast. So when I accepted myself, forgave myself, and realized that life loves me, that allowed me to value myself. Now there's another exercise. There's this really good book, so good. I really hope you read it. It's called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. Let me find the author really quick. Please hold. This is a book that I have sent to every single one of my PBA mastermind ladies because it has been so life-changing for me. It is a book called, I already gave you the title. It is by Kamal Ravikant. Kamal, Kamal. Get it on Amazon. It's like $15 or something. This book is all about self-love. And one thing that this book talks about is that self-love is something that it's not that certain people are born with it. It's that you can create it simply by creating a neural pathway through repetition. You can ingrain neural pathways in your brain, which is basically like memories, things you believe, thoughts, repeat thoughts that are prominent in your brain by repeating them over and over and over. Here's an example of a neural pathway. Peanut butter and jelly. Spaghetti and meatballs. Rock and roll. Those are neural pathways that have been so ingrained in our brain from childhood, from seeing it on TV, from hearing it on commercials, from seeing it everywhere, that neural pathway literally is carved in our brain. You can create a neural pathway that is that strong, that automatic, that is that much belief behind it that there's not even a question. Spaghetti and meatballs, duh. You can create a self-love neural pathway simply by repeating to yourself over and over and over the simple phrase, I love myself. It is that simple. I love doing this because sometimes when I'm washing the dishes or brushing my teeth, I tend to think about work, or sometimes I've been really working on this for the past few years. Our brain will automatically think about the negative, like what didn't go right, what could I have done differently, right? So sometimes when we're doing mundane tasks, our brain will go automatically to that negativity bias. So instead of doing that, when I'm washing the dishes, brushing my teeth, folding laundry, I just say to myself over and over, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. Until you start to believe it. Not because you shifted your appearance or you reached a certain level of success or because you did this right or you proved this to someone, but loving yourself because you are a soul on this planet that's here to experience love. And the more you love yourself, the more you attract opportunities and have an impact and make more money. And the beautiful thing is, the more of that you do, the more people you impact, including your family, your legacy, your mother, your father, different generations, future generations. And it all comes down to valuing yourself. So what does this look like maybe more practically? I would say this. Loving yourself, not because of a specific person, place, condition, result, success, but just loving yourself because you are a soul on this planet. And essentially, looking at every single day from the point of view of how do I value myself in every single moment of my day? Knowing that the more I value myself, the more the universe will value me. And it's going to shift everything that you do. It's going to shift your morning routine. It's going to shift how you show up for your business, how you show up for your family. It's going to shift the support that you get, the boundaries that you have. It's going to shift the food that you eat. It's going to shift the things you say to yourself in the mirror. It's going to shift how you show up and how you speak on your social media. It's going to shift everything for you. And I hope this is really making sense. Because the more you value yourself, the more the universe will mirror it back to you. So if you have one goal, one job, is to figure out what makes you feel like a high value woman or man if you're a male hanging out here. Shout out to Gerald, our resident PBA male. And watch the opportunities unfold. Like literally watch. It's so absolutely crazy to see this happen. It's all about just becoming magnetic, 100%. So that's all I have for today. This is definitely an episode way, way, way on the woo-woo scale, I would say. And if you enjoyed it, let me know. If you have questions about it, let me know, because I can go on many different tangents with this. It's just, do you guys want to hear it? Is this impactful for you? So I hope you give these exercises a try. I hope you get that book. I hope you start to at least recognize where there can be shifts in your day-to-day life. And I hope you start to notice how it impacts your business. And then I can say, I told you so. All right. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Product Biz Podcast. I'll see you next week on our next episode.